So this is my first attempt at copper airlines. I've done black pipe airlines, and I was looking at PEX and some other alternatives, but by the time I bought the crimping tool and everything else for PEX, you never really know. And the black pipe, I just don't like the look of it. It always looks dirty and it rusts and everything else. So copper is the best for not leaving water in your lines and causing the potential of a rupture. So this is I was semi-successful at sweating these things together. It was a little more of a challenge than I thought because I'm really not very good at it. But by the last fitting, it came out okay. But if you look on the back side, you'd see little drops of solder everywhere. But you know what? That's how it goes. So I live in a town of about 20,000 people, so the hardware store kind of has what it has. And rather than get in the car and do another trip in to go get some more pieces, I was only doing four actual joints, so I thought, you know what, I'll just get the adapter. So there's two stacked adapters, and then I put in the actual airline fitting, the 1/4 inch one after that. So this became really apparent that I didn't have enough reach on my welder. So what I did was I took an existing welder plug I had, put some six gauge wire I think it was on it, and it's a 50 amp plug head, so I can plug into the wall and I can move either welder over towards the door. I actually had to do some welding on the hoist where I had to cut a piece off to make it fit, and now I can do that. So I can get things nice and close. Originally, I wanted to have everything down underneath in cupboards. I was gonna get a bunch of those husky cupboards and just fill them up. And while it is tidier, uh, the convenience of having tools up on the wall and being able to put all my rolls of tape and just stuff. I've got those dollies for hand forming that fit in the vise, and all that kind of stuff can be right there, easy to get to. And I'm gonna get little airlines on little coils all the way along there, so you just have to plug in. You don't have to run lines and junk everywhere. So it's a little bit of housekeeping here. And speaking of housekeeping, I've got all this metal that's been sitting there next to my welding table forever. So what I decided to do was take the underside of the table and just make it a long storage rack. So I've got 6-foot pieces in the back, 4-foot in the front, and I put some longer pieces of 20 and 22 gauge sheet metal under there too. So this here is just a third little arm underneath. You'll see at the end there how I have the metal configured in there. I just tied it up and got it off the floor. And my last little project here is to just put a hook for my 2 larger air hoses. So when I built this garage, I've got so much leftover rebar. I got 5/8 for the forms, I got 1/2 inch for the floor, and I got 7/16. I got a ton of it. So I'm going to start picking away at these things and making hooks and just start using them. There's all kinds of artesian things you can do with rebar. So I'm going to start making stuff when I'm bored. I just thought this would be an easy way to coil 2 air hoses. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in this week. This is episode number 22, I think. I missed Sunday just because I had to get away and take advantage of this wonderful weather. And well, let's face it, we haven't had a lot of holiday opportunities for the last year or so. Fairly productive week otherwise. I got this airline run, which I'm pretty happy with. I had to run it so I could use the hoist. It has an air connection for the locks on it. And I pinched an extra 30 amp plug to run the power supply to it, which is nice. So that's what happens when you think ahead when you're wiring your garage. I also really happy with this little storage area here. It's not much to look at, but it's really provided some much needed storage. I'm still not thrilled to bits with this end over here. I'll have to figure out a better way of storing that metal, but maybe I'll have an overflow area. I don't really know. It's a 2 out of 10 problem right now. I added our little water separator there, which is kind of handy. Like I say in the video, I think this thing has got some slope to it, and I will put a drain at the end just to get all the water out of there. I don't like water sitting in there. It's not going to harm the pipe, but it does play havoc on the tools. So until that time, I'll just run an open airline with a little we want to call it, just a little nozzle on it, getting the water out. Next project though is going to be to get all this TIG wires and stuff off the floor, properly put all that stuff up. It's a pain in the butt to clean around, so I'll look at doing something with that probably this week. Yeah, and as things come together, I got 2 more toolboxes I got to find homes for. And just stuff like that. I went crazy at the start, just bought all kinds of storage, and I've since changed. But I'm looking forward to getting some stuff on the wall over there where that slot board is. That'll be kind of nice. Anywho, over here, one thing I also was meaning to do for about a week or two was adjust this the lift. Right now, there's still some slack in these cables, which is okay because it's sitting on the locks right now. So, but these tracks in here, they were all at different heights because the last guy's garage was more like this, whereas mine's perfectly flat, but it slopes forward. So I've got the lift itself is perfectly level, but I have to put some slope to it on the front so that it'll actually match the floor when it comes down. So as it sits right now, all the locks match the cables, and rather than have 4 separate clicks when it locks in, I got 1 long click, which is exactly what you want to have. So we'll get the big truck here soonish, and then we'll look at getting that on here and just sort of measuring where everything has to be and then bolting it to the floor. These bend packs, you don't actually even have to bolt them to the floor. They apparently will sit quite happily on their 4 legs. I don't know if I love that, but anyways. And I did a little bit of work on this corner here today, just with some spare time. So again, not the most beautiful repair in the world, but I'm gonna go back over it and give it a little more fine tuning. And it does have some pinholes I gotta weld up too. So that's pretty much it. It was a pretty productive week overall. Lots of little things. I still have a couple of little projects to do before I apply for my final permit for the place, but a heck of a lot closer now. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. And I promise I will have more content on this guy here as we go. But I'll also throw in a little portion of other stuff too, something maybe a little more interesting than watching me cut, grind, and weld. I appreciate that's really boring. And since I've been doing that, I've watched my viewership sort of take a bit of a dip. So I appreciate that is dull. So I'll try and put some more interesting stuff in there and maybe start doing some other little projects along with that. Anyways, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you for episode 23. And if I got that wrong, it's because I just came back from holidays and I had a really good time.